Hi everyone, it's me, Darlene. I am at my craft table and it is nighttime, but I am not doing an ASMR video because my mother just went to bed, so I wasn't expecting to do an ASMR video because her TV was blasting, but she just went to bed, but now I'm conditioned to doing a regular video, so I'm going to. I have a project I have to work on. My friend Sandy Pro has come up with what she calls a crossover collaboration. What it initially intended on being was that she would start a project and I would finish it, or vice versa. But for this project, she started it, I'm going to work on it, and then I'm going to hand it back over to her for her to finish it. So what she did is she colored 2 pages of paper with paint, markers, whatever, glitter, all kinds of goodies. She's handed these over to me to make beads out of them, and then I am going to give her the beads to make, I think she said necklace or bracelet, I'm not sure. Now, I haven't really asked her if I have the right to do whatever I want. I think I do. So I'm going to make a variety of beads. I hope that that's okay with her. I'm thinking maybe 3 different kinds out of these 2 papers. First, we're going to start with this one with the lines. I'd like to make some tube beads. Now when you make tube beads, you don't need very much designed paper because only the last revolution around the bead is going to show. It's not like with a tapered bead, then the whole page has to be colored. But with tube beads, I really need only like 2 inches of paper. So I'm going to cut my paper 2 inches off. I will save this. I might make some more tube beads. I might do something different. Then what I've done is I took a piece of long legal size paper, and I know this is not the same pink, but this is going to be for the core of the bead, so I just put some pink on there so the core wouldn't be so white. On the other side, I am going to go ahead and glue this on here. And when I roll, I'll start at the other end, and then it'll finish off with this. So I just need some glue. Doesn't take too much. And that looks good. I'm just going to put this aside to dry for a little bit. Now for this paper. If I were to cut triangles in this direction, most of the beads will have some of that dark pink in them. If I were to cut triangles in this direction, some of the beads won't have it at all. I think that it might be in the way kind of cool to do it this way so that some would have a lot of dark pink, some would have mostly just glitter, some would have these little dots, and I think that's the way I'm going to go with it. So I'm going to cut long triangles, and I don't mark anything, I just wing it. That was an irregular. Can I get one more there without cutting my fingers off? No, I'm going to do it by hand. Actually do it this way, it's a little easier. And that gives me 2 more. There'll be some odd shapes, but we'll see how it turns out. So let's see how this is doing. That's dry enough to cut. Now, since this won't all fit in my paper cutter, I'm going to fold it. I'm just going to be cutting straight lines. It's okay if I fold it. And I'll put my folded edge against here. Now this is 8.5 wide. I want to make 8 1-inch beads, so that gives me some room to trim to even out the edges here. And then flip it this way. So I'm going to put it on the 8-inch mark. Now this one actually has enough where I can make a little bead. I might steal it and put it in my odd lot bucket. Okay, I'm just going to cut 1 inch, and these will be 1-inch tube beads. So while I'm thinking of what else to do, I'm going to just go ahead and start rolling some of these. I want to make a pretty big core, so I'm going to try this paintbrush to roll on. But before I do any glue or anything, I have to go all the way to the end to make sure that we have enough of the designed paper on the end to go completely around the final lap of the bead. So I'm just doing this in a sloppy way, so let's see here. We have more than enough. It's going to connect. So I will indeed use this paintbrush. Get my glue ready, and I'm just going to start rolling this for real now and being a little bit more careful. There, I have a bead stuck to the side of my finger. So there's one. This is just a nice way to make 2 beads without wasting all your design. I mean, you could probably make, let's see, another two, so 8 times 4, probably 32 beads out of just one paper. It's also good for when you find just like a small piece of a picture that you like in a magazine. You just cut that magazine picture out, glue it onto white paper or a magazine page, and, you know, make your strip that way. It lets a little design go a long way. I like these very much. The pink with the pink, and see, you can see the core is pink. Now I might try to match up the pink as good as I can. I like it when the ends also match. I don't know where I am here, but we'll see. I'm going to worry about that only at the end. So I'm going to go ahead and finish these off camera, and then I will be back with the next style of bead. I have those all drying, ready to be glazed. I will be doing this probably in 2 or 3 different parts. Now let's move on to rolling some of these. When I have a long triangle, I always like to level off a little bit of the base and make it straight. So when I roll it, there's no corners sticking out. Let me see if I can show you what I mean. Like if you put a triangle on here, after you make a first couple rolls, can you see the little piece right there that sticks out? I can't really tell if I'm showing you the right thing. Anyway, I don't like that. So if I trim the edges and make a little bit of it just straight, then when I roll, that doesn't happen. So with a triangle, you want your whole paper to be designed, or you can leave white, but it's because as you turn, the paper gets narrower and narrower, so you're seeing all parts of the paper. Did I shut this? I guess I did. And then I just put a little bit of glue at the end, and just keep rolling. Very nice. Same thing, just trim some on both sides. Now this piece has a lot of the little dots on it. You know, the beads don't all have to be identical. The fact that they were designed on a piece of paper, no matter what part of that design you get, it's going to look cohesive, because if you liked the design in the first place, you're going to like the parts of the design, even if they're separate. Bead with glue all over me. Okay, I'll make one more with you, and then I'll probably skip to the next step, and I'll finish these either tonight or tomorrow. There. Okay, I'm going to put those aside, and let's see now what I want to do with the rest of this. I'm thinking maybe some little beads. Let's try a few little ones. That might be kind of fun. Just a narrow, skinny triangle. Let's just try that and see how that looks. I don't know if I should still do it on this big. I'd kind of like them to all have the same size core. I like it. Make a couple more of those. Just trim those a little bit. This one's a little bit wider. I liked the width of that first one. I'm being inconsistent. But what's good about inconsistent size beads is it almost makes them look like they're natural, like made from natural things from the earth, which would not be identical. So even though they're made with paper, let's just pretend it came from different trees. Let's do one more together. Okay, I am going to stop, and I'm either going to finish up, or I don't think I'll be using this whole piece of paper all for just little ones. I don't know, maybe I will. Anyway, I will decide. Next time you see me, I will probably be done rolling beads and we'll move on to glazing. I am back. It is the next night, and before I forget, when I started this video, Sandy Pro did not have the first part of this video uploaded to her channel yet, the painting of the paper. She does now. So please go watch that, see how she came up with these designs, and then when I hand her the beads, she will end up doing a necklace, then she will be uploading that. So it goes back and forth, Sandy Pro, and then me, and then back to Sandy Pro. So I ended up making, with that piece of paper, 8 more tube beads. I wanted more tube beads, and then I finished up all the others. I have the tapered beads and the little tapered beads, bigger ones and littler ones. Now I'm going to start glazing, but first I'm going to color the ends of these tube beads because the white is kind of very white. And I'm going to just mix a little bit of pink tempera paint with white, and I tested it earlier and it looks like it's going to work fine and dandy. Just to put a little bit of paint on there. I do that before the glaze because once you glaze it, the paint doesn't stick as good to the glaze. Am I even on camera? Where am I? There's my little bit of pink and white. And then I want just a small brush, and I'm going to mix that a little bit just to make a very light pink. Then I'm just going to paint the edge of the beads. It might not be the exact same pink, but that'll be good. And sometimes that absorbs into the paper. So by the time I get done, all of them, it has absorbed enough, and then I can go around and do it one more time on each bead. A lot goes into bead making, depending how you do it. If you want kids to make paper beads, just, you know, for their own fun, just give them magazines or newspapers, and they can roll them, glue them, and that's it. No glazing necessary, and they're perfectly good for kids. My mother must be watching her Catholic channel. I can hear what sounds like nuns in a convent singing. Even if you slop it on, it absorbs. I'm just going to go ahead and finish these up, and then I'll be back. It is time to start glazing some of these. And you can see that the pink that I put at the end of the two beads, I mean, it just matches like almost perfectly. So it just gets rid of that white. I'm going to be doing a couple coats of just regular Mod Podge. It is the gloss, not matte. But then I plan on finishing the beads with super gloss. So 1 or 2 coats of regular first. I just take a bigger paintbrush so that this doesn't slide all the way down. Now, sometimes the seam lifts up, and I always check that, and if it does, I'll put some Mod Podge and then glue it down, but this one is good. And I'm just going to give a nice coating. And then I put it on my toothpick to dry. I do glaze the ends also, but that'll be another step. Right now I'm just going to do the top of the beads. If the seam is lifted, I just use my paintbrush to push it down. See, this one, the paper has lifted quite a bit, so I just put some Mod Podge under it, and then I seal it this way. I'm just going to finish these 2 beads off camera, and then I will show you how I do the other beads. As for the tapered beads, I do them the same way. I just put them on the paintbrush, and I just put glaze all over them. Now, the ends don't have to be done on tapered beads because the ends are flat, because they're tapered, not like a tube bead. And that's it. And again, these will also get 2 coats of Mod Podge. Ooh, put a lot there. And then I'd like to finish it with the super gloss. And now I will finish those off camera, and then I will show you how I do the little tiny ones. As for the little ones, just the same way. And just slobber it on, push it off. And it's okay if you get it, you know, lumpy and bumpy and thicker in some places. It dries clear, and there's going to be another coat on top, so it always works out. Okay, I'm going to finish these off camera, and then I will let them all dry, and I will see you for the second coat. I am back, and I actually did the second coat without you. I just wanted to hurry up and get the second coat done so it could dry. I do want to just tell you, though, that when I had told you that I glazed the ends, all I do is just dip my brush in Mod Podge, and I just tap the ends like that. And then that seals the ends, and it keeps the paper from sliding back and forth, you know, inside the bead. That has been done, and a second coat all around. They're nice and shiny, but they'll even be more shiny after super gloss. Same thing, I am going to stick these on a paintbrush. Now the super gloss is a little bit more tricky. Let me get you situated a little bit better here. What I do with the super gloss, you don't want to do a lot of strokes because that is not as glossy that way. So I just apply it thick. I try to go down just once. Oh, I got some paper sticking up there a little bit. And then I do go around just a little bit here and there and scoop off any super thick parts. That's it. I'm going to go put that on the pin, on the toothpick, I should say. If you ever find that you've gotten it, you know, too lumpy when it dries and you just don't like something, you can take some fine-grained sandpaper and sand down the bead. I'm talking about sanding down the glossy if you need to. Let's just move on to a tapered bead. Same thing. I just put it on nice and thick. Spread it out as evenly as I can without too many strokes. Let's do a couple little ones. Alright, I'm going to finish these up off camera because it allows me to move the camera out of my way so I can work better. I'll be back. It is the next night, and that super gloss glaze dried nicely, and we are done. We have 16 of the 2 beads. They came out awesome. Let's see if I can get closer. And we happen to also have 16 of the tapered beads, the larger tapered beads. And we have 29 of the smaller tapered beads. They're just so cute. So that is it for my portion of this crossover project with Sandy Pro. Please go check out her video of her painting these pages. I'll have her video in the end screen at the end of this video, if that makes any sense. I'll let you know when she uploads part 3 of this, which will be that she makes a necklace. So just stay tuned for that. I hope you enjoyed. Bye! You can watch Sandy Pro's video by clicking on the video at the top right, and the one below that is my most recent upload. And please subscribe if you haven't yet to my channel and also to Sandy Pro's. Thanks!